someone else's turn. I guess home is the people you love, the people you come from, and the people you are going to. Someone else's turn. 3 years after her classmate Johnny, who also loved dancing, dies in junior infants of cancer, my daughter's in the back of our car after school, and we're stalled at the lights, and we're all looking out at the afternoon sky over the Wicklow Mountains. Wow, says Catherine, her mother, the driver. See how those clouds hang so low on the Sugarloaf, and the gold of the sun right through them like a crown for the mountain. Isn't it striking? So rich and so colourful, like you'd see in a gallery. Every year, pipes my 8-year-old daughter, when it's Johnny's anniversary, the clouds float down from heaven with Johnny floating down on him so he can see his friends and family and say hi. Really? Say I out of curiosity, but also mild concern. What else happens on Johnny's anniversary? Oh, says she, in the night time Johnny jumps out of his grave and dances in the moonlight to his favourite music like Michael Jackson for a while. And when he finishes dancing, the moon applauds, and so do the ewes, and so do the crows, and the cows, and the toads, and the ferns, and so do all the other dead people in the graveyard who've been watching him dancing away. And I say, really? Why is that? 'Cause it's someone else's turn the next night, and everyone has to get a clap and a hip hip hooray when it's their turn, you idiot. It's a great thing to have a daughter, you know. I swear to God, I had 2 brothers. My father, lovely man, loved the bits, very macho. I went to all boys school. When her mother was having my daughter, if it was a boy, I would have pushed it back in. I swear to God. And I just said she's in Sardinia this week on holidays, and she's 20 now, and she's sending me photos of flamingos on the beach. You know what I mean? If it was a young flamingo, I'd be fucking trying to get him out of the pride right about this. You know what I mean? Sorry if that's kind of reverse sexism, but that's how I feel about it anyway at the moment. This is biographical notes. My name, and again, it's about where I'm from. Biographical notes. My name is Dave Lordan. I am 50 years old, and I am a poet. I am against prisons. I am against history. I come from a long line of poets, though I am the first out of all of them to have anything to do with poetry. My father, for example, is a poet of howling survival and of the triumph of mirth over doom. All the bone cold dead of his ancestry in their coffins and pits, warm by the dream of seeing him soon. They know he'll be gifting great bounty of laughing that he stole from the miser called time. Both of my nanas, though they are many years dead and have never had anything to do with poetry, are poets. My nana on my mother's side is a poet of sorrows and secrets and bearing. She bore 7 children and thousands of sorrowful secrets. By the stove on her one-piece suite, she weeps all her sorrows and secrets into bottles and glasses and embers and smoke full of glimmering ghosts of lost sweethearts and infants she won't have abandoned, and she grants me to store in my eyelids for poems. My nana on my father's side is a poet of revelation and of hallucination. She introduced me to prophets and angels when I was a boy, and due to her commendation I have been on good terms with them since. She lives in my ear and my tongue and my vision, and she minds me from harm. My mother, beautiful muse, beautiful nurse, beautiful magician of my being, is not a poet. Instead, she is a musician. My mother is a musician, although she has never had anything to do with musicianship, except this one thing. In mid-December of 1963, when my mother was 11 and in the second last year of her schooling, the teaching nuns of Motherwell in Tralee took her 5th class primary on their annual outing to the Killarney Red Brick, which some called and some still call the Madhouse, to play a nativity concert for inmates. Due to a seasonal illness, 5th class's one flautist was absent, and my little mother, who I imagine you're speechless with shyness at that age, and usually called on for nothing, usually treated as irritant extra, was conscripted to fill in the gap in the show. The nun in charge of the concert put a stop of crushed tissue in the foot of the flute to keep it from sounding, then handed it over to my tremulous mother, ordering her to take up position in the accompanying row of musicians to the rear of the choir and pretend to be playing along. Back then, when a nun in an Irish school for the herded poor gave a task to a child, the child carried it out without question, not out of love or respect, but from terror. My mother obliged the head nun, since she wished to hang on to her flaming long hair and not have its sheep shorn, a routine nun punishment. So my mom played miraculous flute. She played the flute for an hour without playing it. The Christmas concert for Killarney's mental prisoners of 1964 was saved by a terrified girl playing along by not playing a flute. How I pity those nuns and their orders, their cruelty. They were love's aliens. They were foreign to divinity and converts to avoid, bequeathing the stamp of assault, festering memory, and how I worship my 11-year-old mother, for she comes with her flute to me daily as I write in my suburban attic room, and in her airs I can hear beyond hearing imaginary concerts in the music of the silenced, the magnificent choirs of their victory. My name is Dave Lordan. I am a poet. I am against prisons. I am against history. I am 7 million years old. I come from a long line of howlers, a long line of sorrowful secrets, a long line of shivering mutes, fiddling joy out of doom, stealing laughter from time, charming tunes out of prisons of quiet. Yes, my name is Dave Lordan, and I am a poet with no obligation but to strike for the truth, for the quivering phrases of promise, for the stop to be blown from the flute.